American Vampire, Bad Blood, written by Stephen King, artist Raphael Albuquerque. The setting and time is 1880 in Sidewinder, Colorado. Pretty cool name. The man in the left-hand corner is named Will Bunting. He mentions he had only written one novel in his life, named Bad Blood, but it was enough to make him rich. He says the ironic part is most of it is true. There is a crowd that has gathered for the event. It looks like a train is departing from the station. Someone mentions that a Pinkerton is on board. Now, for those who don't know, the Pinkerton National Detective Agency was a private security guard and detective agency started in 1850. Even though they were a private company, they operated pretty much like a federal agency, kind of like the FBI before the FBI. Needless to say, Pinkerton detectives were damn good at what they did. On the train, they have some sort of fugitive, and the citizens of Sidewinder are happy that he got apprehended. Notice on the bottom left there is a vampire. I've noticed in this title that vampires tend to be wealthy. Perhaps that's how they blend in. Their aversion to sunlight could be explained as an odd eccentricity that a millionaire has. I know. I think it's pretty interesting. I think maybe it's kind of symbolism, an allegory for industrialists of the age, how they were making a living off the blood of the working class. Oh look, there's that grungy dude who looks like Brad Pitt. We find out as the title goes on that his name is Skinner Sweet. He's a fugitive. We can tell that by the handcuffs. Now he's amusing himself by having an awkward conversation with the new guy. He talks about the sound of a human head when it's being burnt alive. Ooh. The Pinkerton, we find out, is Special Agent Book, and he starts to speak to Skinner Sweet in the guise of trying to offer him something to eat. But in reality, they are just sizing each other up. I mean, after all, they're both killers. I mean, we're just going to come out and say it. You know, Skinner Sweet, he's a bank robber. Book, he's a special agent, but they both have ended people's lives, and they're both good at it. Book seems to be blissfully unaware that their train is about to be attacked. One thug tells the other, no witnesses. The well-fed man prepares a toast for Book, apprehending Sweet. He mentions that Percy, the vampire, opened his purse strings for the Pinkerton detective to be hired for the case. Percy, he wants more sunscreen. I wonder what they used back then. I mean, they didn't have sunblock. I don't know. Sweet and Book continue to talk about the robbery that Sweet committed. As the train continues, Sweet tries to entice Book by offering to split the loot with him from the bank robbery in Bakersfield. Sweet goes for a piece of peppermint candy he had in the outer rim of his hat. Book lets him know he's not one to be played with. We go back to Bakersfield, Colorado, 6 months ago when the robbery took place. This bank happened to be doing business with a mining company. This is where the job goes south. Sweet mentions his gang held up in an old mine. Book has had enough. He has to get something to drink and lets his junior officer watch the criminal. Sweet, he just can't help himself. He scares the bejesus out of the kid. Sweet not only liked peppermint candy, he also had something to pick the lock in it. The goons are about to make their move as well. Skinner Sweet grabs the young officer and calls him let's just say a racially charged name. Probably wasn't even good back then. I'm not gonna say it. Oh damn. We see now this gang is a bunch that Sweet ran with when he robbed the bank back in Bakersfield. The kid does his best to get Sweet back, but he gets a boot to the face for his trouble. We have a good old-fashioned train fight as Skinner and the Pinkerton square off. The gang just starts firing into the crowd for funsies. Why not? Sweet lets it slip. He knows a lot about Book, including Book's girlfriend. He even sent her a bottle of nasty wine, posing as Book. Book tries to call him a bastard, but he gets pummeled. One of Sweet's goons is about to take out the heavyset guy that raised a toast earlier. Sweet wants to blow off his balls personally, but Book is not completely incapacitated and tries to attack the scoundrel. Sweet offs him with ease as he holds the genteel man. The young officer can't believe his boss is dead, and Will Bunting has the material he needs to write his book. At least to start it. Still gets better. One thing left to do is to kill the weird pale rich guy. Now these goons, these ruffians, honestly believe they're the hunter in this cat and mouse game, and they just riddle him with bullets. Now us as the reader, we know it's not that simple, because he's a vampire. And we also see why Bunting's book was a bestseller. As the vampire attacks Skinner, he doesn't go down easy. Sweet has been bitten, but he still manages to shoot the eye out of the attacking vampire. Believe it or not, Book did survive with a grace. I thought Sweet had killed him, but no. Now Percy the vampire, he laments that this whole thing was ruined. Skinner Sweet was supposed to be an example of what happens to people when they try to fuck with the railroad. Skinner Sweet gets kicked in the face as he bleeds out. It may not have been the execution that had been planned, but it'll do. Bunting knows he would have to sell his book as fiction. Yeah, definitely more action in this one. And now we have a backstory on the old grungy guy. Well, not old, the guy looks like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt from like the 90s. Have you ever seen that movie, True Romance? Really, this character looks like the dude who's on the couch smoking pot out of a honey bear. It's so good. If you haven't seen that movie, it's so underrated. Anyway, I like this. Let me know what you guys think. Fare thee well, my friends, and take care.